Hello. General Hospital today will reveal the latest developments from General Hospital have sent waves of excitement through the fan base. As beloved actress Kirsten Storms, best known for her iconic portrayal of Maxie Jones, has officially confirmed her return to the set. After a much-needed break from filming, Storms is once again stepping back into Maxie's shoes. And all signs point to the fact that the long-anticipated scene of Maxie waking up from her coma is just around the corner. This pivotal moment is expected to kick off a powerful new chapter in Maxie's storyline, reuniting her with the loved ones who have been anxiously waiting by her side. For GH viewers who have missed Maxie's energy, resilience, and emotional complexity, her reappearance is nothing short of a celebratory event. Storms made the exciting announcement via her Instagram account, where she shared a candid mirror selfie taken on set. Alongside the photo, eagle-eyed fans noticed a collection of inspirational quote cards pinned on the wall nearby, suggesting not only a return to the character, but also a reflective, perhaps transformative period in Storm's personal life. The simple yet heartfelt post struck a chord with longtime followers who have supported the actress through her ups and downs, both professionally and personally. Her caption read, "Boom. It's 2026 already. That went fast," followed by, "Back to work. But I miss my bug so much. California doesn't feel the same without her." The post referenced her daughter Harper, affectionately called Bug, highlighting the bittersweet balance Storms is navigating as she transitions back into her work life after time away. Earlier in 2025, Storms took a step back from the GH set and relocated temporarily to Tennessee with Harper. It was a move that gave her the space and calm she needed after a demanding stretch of work and life in the spotlight. Fans were supportive of her decision, knowing the toll that long-term acting schedules and public scrutiny can take. Her return, however, signals not just a professional comeback, but a personal rejuvenation. There's a groundedness in her words and a clarity in her presence, which suggests that she is ready to re-engage with her craft on new terms, stronger, more centered, and deeply connected to the character that made her a household name on daytime television. As the storyline unfolds, the narrative surrounding Maxie's coma will likely be woven with high emotional stakes and potential ripple effects. In true GH fashion, Maxie's awakening could set off a chain of dramatic events, particularly if she has any memory gaps, harbors secret knowledge about the circumstances leading to her coma, or awakens to find significant changes in her family, friendships, or romantic entanglements. Given Maxie's deep ties to key characters such as Felicia Brooke, Lynn Spinelli, and her children, her recovery arc could affect multiple storylines across Port Charles, breathing new life into plots that have been building in her absence. GH writers have a long history of using comas and medical emergencies as pivotal devices to reset, reshape, or reignite character arcs. And Maxie's situation is no exception. Her return could also reignite unresolved tension with Austin, or bring her back into the orbit of major corporate or personal battles in town. Whether she steps back into her role at Deception, re-engages with motherhood full force, or gets caught in a new twist involving secrets and betrayal. Maxie's reawakening promises to be far from passive. It's likely the launchpad for a bold resurgence. The timing of her return also coincides with several shakeups on the canvas, which could open the door for surprising alliances or dramatic feuds. Will Maxie find that her place in Port Charles has shifted while she was unconscious? Will she be welcomed back with open arms? Or will there be tension, guilt, and hidden truths waiting to surface? These are just some of the questions fans are already speculating about, and the suspense is adding even more anticipation to her on-screen comeback. Kirsten Storms' return to General Hospital is more than just a casting update. It's a reaffirmation of how deeply intertwined actor and character can become in the world of daytime drama. Maxie Jones has been a cornerstone of the show's emotional landscape for years, embodying strength, vulnerability, ambition, and fierce loyalty in equal measure. Her resilience mirrors Storm's own journey, and that resonance is likely why fans continue to root so hard for both. With her feet once again planted on set and her heart clearly tethered to her daughter back home, Storms brings a renewed authenticity to Maxie, one that promises rich, emotionally charged performances in the months ahead. As 2026 kicks off, General Hospital viewers can expect not only a triumphant return for one of its central figures, but also a fresh infusion of emotional depth, suspense, and character-driven storytelling. With Maxie Jones finally opening her eyes, the question isn't just what she remembers, but what she'll discover now that the world around her has changed. One thing is certain, Port Charles will never be the same. Of course, this major turn of events aligns perfectly with the 2026 preview spoilers for General Hospital, which had already hinted that Maxie Jones would soon experience a dramatic wake-up call both literally and emotionally. Her long-anticipated reawakening after a prolonged coma is poised to be one of the most emotionally explosive storylines of the year, setting the stage for a series of deeply personal and far-reaching consequences. For Maxie's family and friends, this moment has been a long time coming. The wait has been agonizing, with countless scenes of vigil-keeping tearful bedside confessions and prayers whispered in dim hospital rooms. Now at last, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and the long overdue miracle they've clung to is about to arrive. When Maxie opens her eyes, she won't just be re-entering her own life, she'll be stepping into a world that has shifted and changed in her absence. The initial joy will undoubtedly come from being reunited with her beloved children, a moment that promises to deliver some of the most heart-wrenching and emotionally satisfying scenes for GH fans. Her children, who have endured the fear and confusion of their mother's absence, will finally have her back. And for Maxie, the guilt of missing milestones, the ache of time lost, and the overwhelming gratitude of having a second chance will likely weigh heavily on her as she begins her road to recovery. These scenes are expected to be tender, raw, and overflowing with emotional depth, showcasing Kirsten Storms' ability to channel both maternal warmth and psychological complexity in one of daytime television's most beloved roles. Yet even as Maxie's journey back to consciousness promises family healing and personal redemption, the biggest twist is still to come, a revelation so shocking that it will eclipse all others. The most explosive development tied to her coma isn't just her survival, it's the miraculous and mysterious return of her presumed dead husband, Nathan West. Played by Ryan Pavey, Nathan was last seen in 2018 when he was tragically killed in the line of duty, an event that shattered Maxie and left a permanent scar on her emotional life. His death was a cornerstone moment for the character, reshaping Maxie's identity and influencing nearly every major decision she's made since. The news that Nathan is actually alive changes everything. According to the latest GH spoilers, Nathan's return will coincide with Maxie's awakening, making for a collision of two major emotional arcs. This is no small reveal. The writers are reportedly crafting a slow-burning, highly dramatic return for Nathan, one that will not only reframe his death but also answer lingering questions about who orchestrated his disappearance and why he remained in the shadows for so long. The stakes are astronomical. Nathan's reappearance doesn't just affect Maxie, it could shake the very foundations of Port Charles, especially if it's revealed that his absence was part of a larger conspiracy. For Maxie, seeing Nathan again after all these years, especially in the vulnerable, disoriented state of post-coma recovery, will be nothing short of traumatic. It won't just be a joyful reunion, it will be an earthquake of conflicting emotions. Relief, disbelief, anger, hope, betrayal, and love will all collide in one dizzying moment. How does a woman process the return of the man she buried? How does she reconcile the life she built in his absence with the life she thought she lost forever? And what does this mean for her current emotional ties and the choices she made while grieving him? The emotional weight of that first encounter between Maxie and Nathan is expected to be massive, and fans are already speculating about what their dynamic will look like in this strange new reality. Has Nathan changed during his time away? Was he held captive? Did he choose to disappear for Maxie's protection? Or was he betrayed by someone close to them both? The answers will unfold over time. But one thing is certain, Maxie will be thrown into one of the most emotionally intense and narratively rich periods of her life. It will also be fascinating to see how the rest of Port Charles reacts to Nathan's return. Characters like Dante, Felicia Spinelli, and even Nina, Nathan's sister, will be profoundly affected by the news. Some may feel joy, while others may respond with suspicion or even resentment, depending on what Nathan reveals about his absence. If any villains or past enemies were involved in faking his death or keeping him hidden, this could reawaken old rivalries and ignite new feuds across the canvas. From a storytelling perspective, the decision to bring Nathan back from the dead is a bold move that taps into the essence of soap opera at its best emotionally. Heightened, character-driven, and loaded with dramatic potential. It also signals GH's commitment to honoring fan-favorite characters and delivering the kind of shocking yet satisfying twists that keep viewers hooked. By tying Nathan's return directly to Maxie's recovery, the writers are ensuring that both stories are elevated by each other, with emotional stakes that feel deeply personal and narratively significant. As Maxie navigates the aftermath of her coma and begins to reclaim her life, she'll have to confront not only her own sense of loss and resurrection, but also the complex truths of the people around her. The days ahead will not be easy, but they will be powerful. And for viewers, this promises a stretch of episodes filled with raw emotion, shocking revelations, and performances that remind us why General Hospital remains a cornerstone of daytime drama. The storm is coming, and Maxie's at the eye of it. At first, Maxie may adamantly refuse to believe it. The idea that Nathan, her husband, the love of her life, the man whose death she mourned for years, could somehow be alive, and standing before her would seem like an impossible dream or a cruel illusion. Grief hardens the heart against false hope, and Maxie has endured too much loss, too many emotional blows, to readily accept something that defies everything she thought she knew. Her initial reaction is likely to be one of shock, denial, and emotional paralysis. After all, this isn't just a familiar face in a crowd or a voice she thought she heard. This is a man whose memory has shaped her every choice, whose absence she has learned to live with. She may accuse him of being an imposter, a look-alike, or even a twisted scheme orchestrated by one of her enemies. But beneath the anger and confusion, the emotional tremors will begin. However, as new pieces of evidence surface, Maxie will no longer be able to hold on to denial. The fingerprints will match. The DNA test will confirm the truth. These aren't just vague similarities or uncanny coincidences. Science will provide what emotion alone cannot, undeniable proof that the man in front of her is in fact Nathan West. The realization won't come with immediate relief, it will come with a slow unraveling of defenses, as Maxie is forced to confront the impossible. Each piece of evidence will chip away at her disbelief until all that's left is the staggering truth: Nathan never truly died. The emotional storm won't stop there. One of the most compelling layers of this storyline will come through her son, James West. Now older and more aware of his surroundings, James, portrayed by the talented Gary James Fuller, will emerge as an emotional bridge between Maxie and Nathan. Having perhaps felt a deep connection or inexplicable bond with the man claiming to be his father, James might admit to Maxie that he has slowly begun to understand more about Nathan even before knowing the full truth, whether it's through subtle memories, photographs, or emotional instincts. James may have recognized something familiar in this man long before Maxie allowed herself to believe. Hearing her own son express such certainty will send shockwaves through Maxie. To see James connect so instinctively to Nathan may be the emotional tipping point that forces her to acknowledge what she feels in her heart, even if her mind is still catching up. Still, when Maxie finally looks into Nathan's eyes, truly, deeply looks into them, what will she see? Will her heart recognize him before her mind accepts it? Will that shared history, that unbreakable emotional bond forged through love, loss, and years of memories, be strong enough to transcend the confusion and fear that grips her? This is where the drama reaches its most intimate and profound height. Maxie may hesitate. She may search his face for signs, expressions she remembers, the subtle way he used to look at her, the softness in his voice. And in that moment, the world may fall silent around her as she searches for the one thing that matters: certainty. But love has a way of leaving permanent imprints, emotional fingerprints that defy logic. Deep down, there may be a part of Maxie that always knew Nathan was not truly gone. Perhaps it's the part of her that never fully moved on, or the part that felt incomplete in every relationship that came after. That part may now awaken with terrifying clarity. The moment her eyes lock with his and recognition flashes across both their faces, everything could come crashing down. The grief she buried, the pain she endured, and the dormant love she tried so hard to let go of. It won't be an easy reunion. It may be raw and painful before it becomes healing, but it will be unforgettable. And what will Nathan see in her? The woman he left behind has changed. Maxie has grown stronger, more guarded, more complex in the face of everything she's endured. The reunion won't simply pick up where they left off. It will have to acknowledge the years of absence, the pain of presumed death, and the reality of the life Maxie rebuilt in his absence. There will be questions, resentment, and a painful reckoning. Why didn't he come back sooner? Who kept him away? What secrets lie beneath the surface of his disappearance? Maxie's journey from disbelief to acceptance won't be linear. She may swing between hope and suspicion, joy and heartbreak, all while trying to protect herself and her children from another devastating loss. But as evidence mounts, as James becomes the voice of emotional clarity, and as Nathan's eyes reflect the truth she's been too afraid to believe, Maxie will ultimately have to choose whether to lean into faith or fear. This choice will define the next chapter of her life and determine whether a family once torn apart by tragedy can finally find its way back to wholeness. Maxie's true emotions may serve as the clearest clue to where this storyline is headed, making her internal journey just as vital as the dramatic twists unfolding around her. As General Hospital Times continues to peel back the layers of this high-stakes narrative, it becomes evident that Maxie's reaction to Nathan's return will carry enormous weight, not just for her own character arc, but for the emotional fallout across the wider canvas of Port Charles. Her feelings, raw, conflicted, and deeply personal, will become the heartbeat of a story that is poised to shatter old loyalties, reignite long-buried passions, and potentially redraw the boundaries of every relationship she holds dear. What makes this storyline particularly powerful is the emotional ambiguity Maxie is likely to feel. Awakening from a coma into a world where her dead husband is suddenly alive again is not something that can be easily categorized as joyful or tragic. It's both all at once, and that complexity is where the story will thrive. If Maxie allows herself to believe this man is truly Nathan the one she mourned, the one she still dreams about in her most vulnerable moments, then the implications will be seismic. Giving into that belief would mean not only reopening her heart to a love she thought she had lost forever, but also dismantling all the emotional scaffolding she built to survive his death. It would mean trusting something that feels too good to be true. And for someone like Maxie, whose life has been punctuated by betrayal loss and emotional chaos, that leap of faith could be as terrifying as it is exhilarating. But Maxie's heart doesn't exist in a vacuum. If she chooses to embrace Nathan's return and love him again, the ripple effects will be felt immediately, particularly by Damien Spinelli. Played by Bradford Anderson, Spinelli has long been Maxie's loyal confidant, co-parent, and emotional anchor. Despite the many twists in their relationship over the years, Spinelli's affection for Maxie has always lingered just beneath the surface. There's a quiet intensity in how he supports her, how he sees her beyond the whirlwind she often becomes, and how he holds on to a kind of love that is rooted in admiration and respect. For Spinelli, watching Maxie reunite with Nathan could feel like losing her all over again. Not because Nathan is unworthy, but because fate continues to cast Spinelli in the role of the one who stays behind. The one who's always there but never quite chosen. That heartbreak could pave the way for new dimensions in Spinelli's character. Will he step back with grace, supporting Maxie while burying his own pain, or will jealousy, regret, and long repressed feelings rise to the surface, threatening to fracture the fragile balance they've built as co-parents and friends? GH has a long tradition of exploring love. Triangles not as shallow conflicts, but as deeply psychological battles of identity, loyalty, and emotional need, and this triangle between Maxie, Nathan, and Spinelli is ripe for that treatment. Each man represents a different chapter of Maxie's life. Nathan is her great love, lost to tragedy, while Spinelli is the dependable presence who has stood by her through every storm. Complicating matters even further is the fact that Maxie won't wake up to a clean slate. According to Times General Hospital Times, spoilers, Maxie is set to regain consciousness amidst a whirlwind of emotional confusion. Her life has not stood still during her coma. Relationships have evolved, allegiances have shifted, and secrets have been kept. The moment she opens her eyes, she'll be thrust into a tangled web of unresolved emotions, unfinished conversations, and painful revelations. It's not just about choosing between Nathan and Spinelli, it's about reorienting herself in a world that no longer fits neatly into the boxes she left behind. And what if deep down, Maxie doesn't feel the same way about Nathan anymore? What if grief reshaped her heart so thoroughly that loving him again feels like trying to relive a memory rather than embracing the present? These are the questions that could haunt her as she attempts to make sense of who she is now and what she truly wants. It's possible that the idealized version of Nathan she held on to all these years may not match the real man standing before her. And if that's the case, Maxie may find herself emotionally paralyzed, torn between the echo of a perfect love and the harsh reality of a changed man in a changed world. The chaos looming in Maxie's emotional life will no doubt drive some of the most compelling storytelling GH has offered in years. Viewers should brace themselves for scenes filled with raw vulnerability, emotional outbursts, and unexpected decisions. Maxie may lash out in anger, break down in grief, or throw herself into love with reckless abandon whatever direction she takes. It's guaranteed to stir up shockwaves across Port Charles. As always, asterisk. General Hospital Times thrives when it puts its characters into impossible situations and lets them claw their way through the emotional fallout. Maxie's coma recovery will be more than a medical miracle. It will be a catalyst for transformation, reflection, and emotional upheaval. Whether she finds her way back to Nathan, finally chooses Spinelli, or forges a new path entirely, one thing is certain: the storm surrounding Maxie Jones has only just begun. So stay tuned, because the chaos, heartbreak, and hope that await her are bound to keep audiences on the edge of their seats.